So I wanted to give a real quick overview of how this poster could be used to teach basic music theory. All of these different information things on the bottom are going to be replaced in the app by these simple colors and some other information, and you'll be able to change in and out depending upon what your interests are and what you want to learn or pull out of it. But I'm going to start with the thing that everybody knows here, and that's do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti. Right? Now, in music theory, they refer to that as each of those are scale degrees, and they're in what's called a key. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti. Now, musicians refer to these scale degrees oftentimes as Roman numerals. And if you're in a rock band or a blues band, probably even a jazz band, you're probably using these pretty regularly. And these numbers, not a lot of people know this, but this system was actually set up in the 50s to teach the Jordanaires, who were Elvis's backing singers, how to basically change from key to key and to simplify it. So it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, right? It's all the same. But they use these, and oftentimes you'll hear musicians talk about a 1, 4, and 5 song. These are sort of the most common intervals of scale degrees. And an interval is just the space between one scale degree or another. Perhaps you've heard of a minor or major chord. And this part of the poster really just shows different ways that those are laid out, and then it also says what the minor or what each one of these scale degrees, what the sort of related chord to that is. Now, for anybody who doesn't know, I'll give a real brief description of what a chord or a harmony is, and it really has to do with its difference between a note, which is one note at a time, or a melody. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti. Not a great melody, but you get the idea. And a chord is multiple notes played at the same time. So and then there's different formulas, and some of them are happy, and some are sad, and some are a little scary, right? So at any rate, the way these work out in most Western music is that the first scale degree, the 1, or do, is a major chord. The second one is a minor, which is kind of sad. Now, this poster shows M-A-J, right, in lowercase, and that's just another way to say major. You'll see that sometimes written. The next one, which is the 5, or blue, is another major chord, but that's another way that the majors can be shown. It's a capital M. And then there's a lowercase m, which is a minor. Now, the last one is this sort of oblong circle, and that is a diminished. Now, diminished chords are really, they're kind of magic, and I'll go into that in part 2 of this once I flip the other side over. But I'm going to pull over to this guy here really quickly, and I'll sort of show you, these are some other symbols to show major and minor chords in a position. Now, this isn't a proper music font, but you'll see these. They're sort of they're a triangle and a dash and a dash and a triangle and a triangle and a dash and then a little oblong circle. It's sort of the same in that one. And I'll explain what those are. Is that little triangle usually indicates a major, and then this is a minor, and that one's a minor, and this one's a major, and this one's a major, and this one's a minor, and this one's a diminished. Now, if all of this is just way too fast for you, don't worry about it. You'll be able to watch this video over and over again, and once I get to the other side, you'll be able to take some of these things and transfer them to your playing. Of course, you can always get the Harmonium Gramatica app for the iPad, which has lessons and games, and will also be able to show you guitar data, bass data, piano, and note notation. But at any rate, yeah, couldn't couldn't help but do that plug. But I'm going to go back to this other thing here, which is just another way that these degrees are sort of fancier ways that they're described. And it's kind of an odd space. But this one is the one is the tonic. The second is the supertonic because it's above it, supertonic. The next one is the mediant, and I think that's because it's the middle or something. Even though it's not really the middle, I don't know why they call it that. At any rate, so then there's the subdominant, which is the 4, and the dominant, which is the 5. And when we get into chord qualities, I'll talk a little bit again, but you'll often see this one as a 7 chord. But that's for the other side of this paper here. Then there's the submediant, and then there's several names for this top little space here, but for the sake of this poster, I decided to just go with what the jazz guys tend to call it, and that's the leading tone. So this sort of explains different names for what the app represents in scale, in colors: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. And again, this is a key.